So ICMP, we have already seen that the IP is not a reliable protocol. It is unreliable protocol. So what happens if the packet gets lost? What happens if something goes wrong? Whether the source will come to know, okay, so this is happening like this, or this error has occurred. So if it is not communicated to you, the source will never come to know that whether the packet is delivered or not. So for that purpose, there will be another concept, there will be another protocol which used hand in hand with IP, or which will take care of such kind of error reporting. That is called as a ICMP, that is called as Internet Control Management Protocol. Okay, so IP also lacks the mechanism for the host as well as management queries. So you will not know whether the next host to whom you are sending, whether it is active or alive, or that such kind of information is not known to you. Then such queries are identified or will be taken care by this protocol called as a ICMP. So host sometimes needs to determine if the router is alive or not, and the network manager needs the information from other hosts or routers. So Internet Control Message Protocol, it has been designed to compensate the two deficiencies. So first deficiency is error reporting, and second deficiency is related with the queries, management queries. Okay, so these deficiencies are taken care by Internet Control Message Protocol. So it is a companion with IP, so it comes along with the IP, and it will take care of a network layer error reporting mechanism. So when IP datagram encapsulate this message, ICMP message, the value of the field protocol in the IP datagram, we have already seen what type of IP header format is there, or IP datagram is there. So all the values will be set to 1. It indicates that the IP payroll is an ICMP message. So the payroll information is a ICMP message, and that ICMP message is what we will see soon. Okay, so ICMP message or ICMP protocol take care of two messages, two informations. So first one is the report error reporting message, and second one is query message. Now there are different types of errors occurs, and these errors are we can say that the first error is destination unreachable, second message is source quench, third is redirection, fourth one is time exceeded, fifth one is parameter problem, and there are query messages. So query messages come with a pair, so echo request and reply, and timestamp request and reply. So we will see in detail, but before that let us try to understand what is the format of ICMP. So for both error reporting as well as for error reporting, this is the format, and for query this is the format. So here you can see that it consists 8-byte information. So here it is a 8-byte information. So if you consider this one, this is 8-byte information, this is also 8-byte information, but for error reporting it is different, and query message it is different. First 4 bytes are common for both the messages. First 4 bytes are common for both the messages, that is a type, code and checksum. Here it is also type, code and checksum. Now the second 4 byte, it is the rest of the header, then there will be a identifier and a sequence number, and followed by a data section in both the cases. So what will be the maximum size of header? That is 8 bytes for both cases, 8 bytes, right? that is 8 bytes. So this is the general format of Icmp. Okay. So Icmp message has a 8 byte and 4 byte. I have already discussed it. So Icmp type defines the type of the message, which type of message it is. So we have already seen there are 5 types of error reporting messages are there. So which type it is there, so that type will be defined by this type, and code will decide the specifies the reason for the particular message. So what is the reason for that particular message, that will be defined by the code. And checksum, we have already known that you can find out the error in the header. So its information is there in the checksum. So last field is checksum. Okay. So this is how a port is approached. So data section in error message carries the information for finding out the original packet that had an error. So we know that whenever you are sending the information, you are sending both type of information, that is IP address, source IP address and destination IP address. So error message should be carried back to the source, that this is what the information is. So data section in error message carries the information for finding out the original packet that had an error. So this is assembled with this Icmp header. Icmp header is encapsulated in IP, and that IP is sent back to the source. So source address is already known from that IP format of that packet initially that you have sent. So query message, what it does, the query message, it carries the data section about the extra information based on the type of the query. So there are different types of the queries are there. So these queries are identified. Now there are different types of errors are there. So these errors, you can see that destination unreachable, the information that you can put it is a type. So type will have a value 3. The code may vary from 0 to 15. Then source quench, the type is 4. It has only value 0, code value is 0. Redirection, type is 5. The code may vary from 0 to 3. The time exceeded is having 11 type, and it will have only value 0 or 1. And parameter problems, it will have type 12, and it will also consider the code 0 and 1. Let us try to understand what all these parameters means. Okay. So what is the main responsibility of Icmp? Icmp is basically responsible to report some errors that may occur during the IP datagram, processing of IT datagram. Icmp does not correct the errors, it simply reports them. Okay. So error messages are always sent to original source. As I discussed earlier, the error messages are sent back to the original source, and this Icmp uses the source IP address from the address which we have already shared with that IP datagram. So the IP datagram have error. So from that, it will take the message of source IP. That IP datagram error will be put over there. The code will be mentioned. Why this error has occurred, that will be mentioned by this code. Then this whole information will get encapsulated in the Icmp. Then that will be get added to that one. Okay. So the message will be get added to that one, and the IP will be sent back to the source. So Icmp, it follows certain rules when you send the message. So what it does, the no error message will be generated for the datagram which are having a multicast address or a special addresses. So we know that there are certain special addresses are there. So this address 0.0.0.0 is a special address. Okay. Then 127.0.0.0 is also a special address. So these are the special addresses, and for that purpose no error message is generated. And if it is a multicast in a sense one to many, or then in that case also you have send the error message is not generated. Okay. The second case is there, error message is not generated when the datagram carries an error message itself. Okay, for error message is not generated. So this is the second case. And the third case is the error message will not be generated for the fragmented datagram that is not the first fragment. So for the first fragment only the message will be generated, and if the fragment is not the first one, then in that case the message will not be generated. Okay. So these are the information related to ICMP. Now what do you mean by destination unreachable? Destination unreachable, so its type is 3 and code may vary from 0 to 15. So most of the time whenever you are trying to find out the network, or whenever you are trying to find out a particular host or a particular server, now let us say that if you are trying to apply for a host, let us consider you are trying to apply for a Google server. Okay, and fortunately or unfortunately the network you are connected is down, or the server is not reachable. So what you will get the information in your browser. So most of the time you will get the information the destination is not reachable. Okay, destination is not reachable. So that means this is the most widely error that you will be finding. If the destination is not reachable, then in that case you may try after certain time and there are certain messages are there. So these are nothing but the representation of such kind of destination unreachable. The site is not reachable, you try after some time. So depending on the web designers and depending on that HTTP the messages are accordingly modified, but the ultimate aim is it want to convey you the report, error report, that destination is unreachable. Okay, so the code 0 tells that host is unreachable. So if the code is 0, it is unreachable. Now the second is source quench. Now what happens? Let us say that we know that IP is a connectionless protocol, and what happens because in TCP we have already seen how the congestion is taken care of, but in IP we don't know how, whether the congestion is there or not, and if congestion occurs, what happens to the packet. So this will be taken care by this error message, and this source will tell you that congestion has occurred. Okay, it has encountered with the congestion and datagram has been dropped, and it will give the indication by this source quench information that you have to slow down your sending more datagrams. So you have to slow down your, so this is how you can control your congestion. So this is the information you will be sending through the source, that the congestion has occurred and you have to slow down, and this source quench message will tell the source that the information about congestion. Then so this ICMP adds the kind of congestion control mechanism to the IP control. So this is what the conclusion we have came up with. Then the next one is the third message is redirection message. The third message is redirection message. Now what do you mean by redirection message? Now many times whenever you are sending the packet when you are sending your datagram, there at that time the source uses a wrong router to send out its message. So let us say if you want to go to a particular place, say A, and you send the information that the route is via B. So actually you want to go to the route A, but you sent the packet to route B. So that router information will redirect the message to the source that the destination is not approachable or the route is wrong. So it will send the information. So router redirects the message to the appropriate router, and that table gets updated the information, and that table will take care that next time whenever you send the packet to that particular route, that route will be maintained properly. Okay, now we know that there is one field called as a time to live, right? TTL in IP. Time to live in IP, there is a one field. What that TTL says? TTL says that how many hops it will take, and after every hop the count will be get decreased, and after certain period, after certain hop, when that TTL will become 0, that datagram will be discarded, or that packet will be discarded, right? Now this time exceeded will not known by the source why the packet has discarded. So this time exceeded error will tell the information, will tell the source that the time has expired. So TTL value, when it becomes 0, it will drop by the visiting router, and the time exceeded message with code 0 will be sent back to the source. So this code 0 will inform that okay, the error has occurred because the time has elapsed. Now the code 1 also you can send it. What the code 1 means, when you the time exceed message, the code, it comes with a code 1, then what it indicates? It indicates that when not all the fragments of the data arrive within the predefined period of time. That means how many fragments you have sent, that fragments have not arrived to the destination within the predefined period of time. So this is what the error you can get it at the source end if all the fragments are not seen, and if the time is 0, so you will be getting the code 0. So this is what the time exceeded is, and its type is 11. Now the parameter problems are there. There are certain parameters that is a type 12 information. So the parameter problem message can be sent either there is a problem in the header of a datagram. So if any problem is there with the header, then this information will be sent back to the source, and there are certain options that are missing and or that cannot be interpreted. Then in that case code 0 and code 1 will help the source to understand what exactly the problem has occurred. Okay, so this is how the error messages are reported back to the source with the help of Icmp. So IP along with Icmp will act as a error controlling mechanism. Actually it is not checking the correcting the errors, but it is just informing the errors to the source. Now there is a second message that is called as a query message. Now what is that query message? So query message can be used independently because it is not a part of your IP datagram. It is used independently of IP datagram. So query messages are used to probe. Or test the liveliness of your host. That means now the best example is that whenever the online lectures are going on, so every faculty member is trying to call a particular roll number. So if I call a particular roll number and if I get a response from that student, or if I get the response from that roll number, then I'll say that okay, that particular student is alive, he is listening the lecture. But if he don't listen, then I'll give a second call. Okay, roll number this and this, are you there? Okay, roll number this and this, are you there? Okay, roll number, are you there? So many informations, or so many requests are sent to that host, and I'll try to find out whether that host is alive or not. So this query message will take care of this probing or testing of liveliness of the host. So query message comes into pair, so request and reply. So request is that okay, are you there? Are you listening? And reply is yes sir, I am listening. So request and reply is there. So the query message comes along with a pair request and reply. Actually, if you consider the Icmp, then Icmp, there are versions are there, IPv4, Icmp v4 and Icmp v6, which are meant for IPv4 and IPv6. So accordingly, there are some query messages are there. I will take care only those query messages which are in use right nowadays. And so the first query message is echo request and echo reply. Echo request and echo reply. So when you send a echo request, the type is of 8, and when you receive the reply, the type is of 0. So this is paired message, and you want to check whether the host is alive or not. So the best example is the tools that are used for such kind of checking in network is a ping information. So whenever the practicals will be there, you can check it. You can check for a particular network. So you simply type a ping, and after typing a ping, you give either a direct server name, or if you know the IP address, you directly give the IP address and see what kind of information you will be getting. So you have to type this on your command window of your DOS prompt of your Windows, and from that you will find that whether you will be getting the response from that host or the server. And if you are getting the information, then in that case you will know that what is the time you will be getting from that information. Okay, so the first information is ping, and second one is the trace route. So these are the two debugging tools that are widely used. So the second information or the second message in query is a timestamp request and timestamp reply. So type is 13 and type is 14. So for request it is 13, for reply it is 14. So what it finds? It finds the time between the route or round. So if I send the request, how much time it will be taken, and the reply is there, how much time it will be there. So actually 32-bit information in the format of time. So time will be converted into 32-bit information, and this 32-bit information is sent in the format of request, and receiver will send okay, it has been received and this is the time. So this information is sent back to the source. So the time will be calculated, and you will come to know that whether the clocks or the two devices are synchronized or not. So the synchronization is very important process in communication. So this synchronization has happened or not, so this information will come to know with the help of this timestamp request and timestamp reply. So this is how actually the information get processed in Icmp. So actually these are the two query messages that are widely used nowadays, and apart from that there are three more requests are there and replies are there, but nowadays they are not in use. The reason is that they have been declared as obsolete. The first is the information request and reply. it has been declared, or it has been declared that it is not in use because ARP, we have already seen the ARP, address resolution protocol. It will take care of this one. It will take care of this request and reply. That's why this information is not required, or this query is not required. The second is address mask request and reply. Address mask request and reply. So this is also not in use nowadays, but in many books you will find that, or the books which are of older version, you will find that these fields are explained in the books. So if you consider the book of Frozen, data communication and networking by Frozen, in that book you will find that these messages are explained. But the higher versions of the same author with the same book, they have come up with these messages are not declared by, so actually they are not in use. So DHCP, dynamic host control protocol, it will take care of this address mask request and reply. So DHCP is nowadays, it is in use. That's why this address mask request reply is not utilized. And the third one is router solicitation and advertisement. Router solicitation and advertisement. Again, it is not in use. So why? Because DHCP will take care of that one. So that's why the router solicitation and advertisement is outdated. So these three queries are nowadays nobody is using, because the protocols like ARP and DHCP are taking care of these queries in their protocol itself, and these protocols are used for various purposes. So the care has been taken care, so there is no need to use it once again. So that's why it is not used. Okay, so this is how we have come